Can data stifle creativity? With so many metrics and numbers easily at our disposal, it can be a difficult balancing act to know how much do we rely on the data and the numbers versus good old common sense and our intuition, our gut feel. That's going to be the conversation in today's T Talk. Let's get into it. Right, so welcome back to the T Talk studio. Darren and I, we haven't been in this very studio for a little while.
We've been incredibly busy. I've been out chopping trees all day, as you can tell.
You do look a little bit like a lumberjack. Even the boots. You have gone for the,
I've got little
the lumberjack
balls on
look.
My socks as well.
Nice, actually, so have I. Look, there's a theme. There's a theme. I love it. That's unintentional. You have got the lumberjack look going on. Right, this is the first time we've been back in the T Talk studio for a little while. So we've got a lot to talk through today.
Yes, we do.
This is an interesting one, because data, does it stifle creativity?
Yes.
I think, on this, we've got two very different perspectives here, the creative perspective and the more techie perspective.
Absolutely.
So come on then, where do you sit on this?
Well, I think I know where we're going to end up.
Yeah.
But...
don't give it away.
I know where I'm going to begin.
We have no clue where we're going to end up.
I would say that yes, ultimately it does.
Yeah, okay.
I think there's a lot that data can do for us.
Yeah.
But creativity, it's creative.
So this came about because, as we often do, we always have our T Talks reflect conversation, things going on in our field. I think that's why they're super useful, super interesting. So we very recently, for our own content, if we think of our own YouTube, our own stuff that we're doing, we have had exactly this discussion on creativity versus the data versus what the numbers are telling us.
Yeah.
And we've made some changes, but we've only to a certain point, haven't we?
Yes.
Just expand on what we've seen, because I think it'll give context to why we're having this discussion.
The eagle-eyed viewers among you will notice that recently all of the T Talk thumbnails have had a makeover. They've changed.
They have.
And that was due to a lot of outside factors, but primarily came from the data.
Yeah.
It came from an outside sort of insight as well, but someone who I've spoken to who is very in the know on YouTube data. And ultimately that's what made us make that change.
Yeah.
Now it's an interesting one, because I think I argued that I actually really liked what we were doing.
Yeah.
I think to a certain extent, I think from a creativity point of view, the old ones are nicer, but only if you look at them on a big screen up close.
The old ones were the original ones. The old ones. There was more going on.
There was more going on
in the thumbnail, just to provide context on YouTube. In the little thumbnail you get, which is really the thumbnail and the title are the biggest, most important factors when it comes to your content. Because if that works, you get the click, people watch the content. If that doesn't, they skip past it. You could have the most amazing content on your video. No one's ever going to see it.
Well, that's the thing. So, and this is where the reason why we've made the change is because ultimately, after sort of having this conversation and giving it a go, making this new version, what I came to realize is, though I really liked looking at the old format on a big screen, most people aren't going to see it at that size. They're going to see it very small. So, and actually, if you compare both of the old way and the new way on a very small scale, the old one there's too much going on.
There's too much going on. It's too busy.
It's too busy.
And one of the things we've done as well is we've zoomed in on the faces, haven't we? So it's much more emotive. We're much closer. There's less going on. It's cleaner. And on a small screen, that's better. But so you could argue in that scenario, okay, great. So you've been led by the data, as well as say some third-party insights that have given us some perspectives and said, actually, this would do even better if you did this. So we've led, and we've seen from the data pre and post. Yep, that was right. That's working. But if we haven't taken it to the full extreme, because I
could have gone way more.
Yeah, you could.
So many of the people watching this will know what I mean when I talk about those over the top, kind of cringy, classic YouTube thumbnails.
Of which I am guilty of doing some. It's the whole...
It's that.
It's all of this. I have done a few in my time.
But even the ones that you did weren't going as far as you could have gone.
Yeah, no, true.
Because they are out there, they clearly do work, and they're clearly heavily data-driven. Now, we could have gone to that extreme. self-respect won't allow me to. But you never know.
Mine probably would, to be honest. If he asks, I'll do it. So who am I to talk? I've recently got my bum out on Uncut and God knows what else.
Go and check out the Uncut.
Exactly.
Link below.
There you go, exactly that, yeah.
So as you say, we could have gone a lot further. We could have let data drive us right off a cliff. But we didn't.
No, we don't want to do that. We don't want to So okay, but that's specific for YouTube then. So come on then, kick us off, because you're quite pro go on.
I am. So I think
first point.
One of the things that I would always encourage people to do if they're using data is not to follow it too much to the point where you are essentially only making the safest choice.
Yeah.
Because ultimately what that will do if you're following the data is it will essentially find what's popular, what's doing well, and it will tell you to do that.
Yeah.
And if you're going to just follow the crowd, you're never going to stand out.
Yeah.
And you run the risk of being sort of overlapped with everything else that everybody's doing. It becomes very vanilla, and it becomes very difficult for people to find your content.
Yeah.
So I think in that sense, following the data could be detrimental to what you're actually trying to do, which is have people find your videos.
Yeah.
Now, there might be a way where you can do a bit of both and follow the data, but add something else to it to make it stand out.
Yeah.
But if you're only going to follow the data blindly, then you run a real risk of picking only the same
You also,
choices.
as you say, you become like it becomes a sea of sameness, doesn't it? And it just, as you say, you're not doing anything different, so you're just following the crowd, and that's not good. To offset that though, one of the pros for the data approach is the amount of analysis and the insights that you can get in understanding your audience. So regardless of channel platform, I think one of the big pros of data, and data's there to inform and to give you ideas and insights that you just wouldn't otherwise have. And we've done that for ourselves. We do it every single day for our clients in terms of what is the audience telling us, how are they engaging. So I do think you've got all of these tools at your disposal, so leveraging them to gain insights, to then you as from your perspective think, how can I leverage those insights when it comes to understanding about your audience, getting true. The best brands right now are ones that are developing a deep understanding of their customers, of their audience. So I think that's a pro, but as you say, not taking it to the extreme where you just do the same as everyone else.
Before we go any further, if you're enjoying today's Tea Talk, you'll love our Grow with Evergreen podcast. Specifically created for home, garden and lifestyle brands, it's a podcast dedicated to discussing paid media and marketing. Every episode we're joined by a brand that wants to grow online. We delve into their business, dissect what they're doing and define a digital growth strategy they can take and deploy into their business. And best of all, you get to listen or watch along, then take those learnings into your own business. Make sure you check it out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. But for now, let's get back to today's Tea Talk.
So just to jump on that, my next point would be, yes, that's all great, but as long as you're using your common sense with it.
Yeah.
So say, for example, if you post a video and it does way better than anything else you've ever done, and it's on a very specific topic, yes, maybe that has some impact on that.
Sure.
But it might, you never know with data. Sometimes it might be a bit of a fluke. It might, you don't want to take it as gospel. And because ultimately, if you do that, it might lead you down some paths that take you away from what you're originally trying to achieve. It might take you off brand.
This is such a good point.
And you eventually then end up in a place that is so far removed from where you began and what you wanted that you don't even realize it.
Well, the data's telling this, but we wanted to do that.
Exactly.
But now actually we find ourselves here. And that happens more frequently than you realise. It does. Okay then, so to back the tennis, the baton back to you then on this, data, another thing that why it's so useful is for that feedback. It's going to give you can split test, you can experiment, you can use data to test the market. And again, YouTube now give you the option to have 3 thumbnails. And it's not, we're talking a lot about YouTube, but any content you're running any type of ad, you can split test and you can see. And so getting that feedback to quite simply run split tests and say, we're going to try 2 different images with 2 different looks and feel. We're doing that now with our YouTube. We've gone with some of them, is this closer up, this and the other, and others are not so much.
We're testing
so you can experiment and you can get feedback, and that is where, because you're going to have a hunch, I think this is going to work, or this feels very us, and actually, but the data's saying this, great, split test it, see what's going to work.
However, then pass it back.
Yeah, you're going to have to edit this afterwards. It's like,
someone put a tennis racket in.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a phrase I like, paralysis by analysis.
Oh, hello.
If you've got all that data, it's great. If you want to do all that A/B testing, it's great.
Yeah.
But if you're so bogged down by data that you really just, I'm like, what do I even do? Where do I begin? What do I do? How do I know which one's the best option? There's so many choices, and all of this data is leading me to just not know where to start. So data's fine for a certain extent, but don't let data paralyze you. Don't have paralysis by analysis.
That's a lovely little slope. That's not yours. You haven't just come up with that, have you?
No, I'm going to take it.
He's taken it. You heard it.
My assistant gave it to me.
There you go. Okay, nice. So the other thing you can do is, again, data is super powerful. And I'm thinking in the context with which we are actively using it, helps with personalization. So it helps with your ability to really talk to your consumer. You can adjust your creative to really speak to your target customer, and when we're thinking about retargeting, when we're thinking about dynamic remarketing, and as much as being able to show that product, that service, get it in front of someone when they have raised their hand and said, hey, I'm interested in this, I'm on the website, I'm having a look, I like this, I'm not ready to buy it now, but I'm considering it, or I'm thinking about something. Your ability to get that product, service, that message, and really talk to that person and convey both visually and through words. So personalization is very powerful, and it's only the data, because common sense is to a degree can help with that, but you need to be when it gets to those sort of minute details, the data is going to, I would say, make or break your ability to really speak to that person at where they are in the buying journey. So I think there's a big tick and there's a big plus for personalization through the use of data.
Okay, interesting.
You disagree?
No. I think ultimately, where we're going to end on this, is hit it back again.
Go on.
What's that? The ball's landed right on the net in the middle.
Oh.
How did that happen?
No idea,
I think it's a classic line.
Go on.
It depends.
We need a warning bell.
It depends.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it does. At the end of the day, I think there's a big caveat with all of this. I think. I'll be the first to say that if you let your creativity run wild, then you ignore the
it's a marriage,
signs,
isn't it? It is a marriage.
Then you
it's
are.
It's like us. It's a marriage.
There you go.
Works, but I think the overarching theme is data is amazing for experimentation. I think without data, we would be it would be a guessing game. We would just be going with, I think this is going to work. We throw it up and no idea. And to get started, that's often the case because you don't have data. But the more you do, the more data you're going to have. And I think the more data gives you the ability to experiment, and then you find what works for you. And it's never going to be the same for every brand's going to be different.
I think with data, you run the risk of ending up in a place that's far removed from where you started and where you want to be. But with creativity, without data, you run the risk of ending up somewhere when nobody's necessarily watching.
Ooh, there you go. I think that's the way we wrap this. I think there you go. So there you go. It is, and I think it's got to be a bit of a marriage, a bit of a mix, and depending on where your business is in terms of your digital maturity and how much data you have, I think will dictate where you're at. But I think, a nice marriage of the two, of remembering that common sense, and this is what we're trying to do and how and where we're trying to do it, but also leveraging, and I think leverage is the key word for this, leveraging data to inform, to educate, provide insight, to offer the ability to experiment, I think is a good one.
And I think just to end on that then, what I'll do is, because we like to give some tips and actionable things, one of the tools that we've actually started using recently is a tool called vidIQ.
Okay.
Just vidIQ. And essentially what it does is it adds an extension onto Chrome that allows it to link up to your YouTube channel, and it can offer you ideas, it can offer you title suggestions, it can analyze your thumbnails. It's really good. It can do things like offering you AI thumbnails, which I would avoid. Because that's just going to lead you down that cringy side of YouTube. But there are some really good tools on there. I think, again, caveat that with use your common sense, use your intuition.
Yeah.
But it's a really good starting point.
There you go. And we should just say that we're not affiliated with these guys.
We're not, no.
They're not paying us, but hey, they've just got shout out. Well, quite, yeah, we're paying them. This dynamic is all wrong. Well, there you go. Check out vidIQ. Hopefully it's been useful. Let us know in the comments, what do you do? Are you led more by your creativity and your own intuition, or are you led all by the data and now you're thinking, well, maybe I need to have a little marriage of both? Let us know, and Darren and I will see you on the next episode of T.E.A Talks. Take care.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more, well, on the left side of the screen, you'll find a video that YouTube has hand-picked just for you. On the right, you'll find our latest video hot off the press. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Thanks for watching.